Happy Sabbath, church family. We thank God that He's brought us to another Sabbath day of the last Sabbath in the month of August. We're moving now into the month of September 2020. And what a year it has been for us, but we're still holding on and we're thanking God for His mercy and His grace. At the end of each month, as your pastor, I want to bring you announcements as to where we are as a church based on activities, based on the ministries of the church, and also where we are in the context of reopening and this global pandemic. I know all of you have been calling, or at least been asking or raising the question, Pastor Thornton, when will the church open again? And while I indicated in my last public address announcement to the church, it is not a decision that solely is predicated upon the church by itself. We have three other governing bodies that we have to respond to based on compliance, based on the CDC recommendations, based on the South Central Conference, based on the Southern Union Conference, and based on the local city officials here in Louisville and the state of Kentucky as well. So it's not left solely up to us, but at the same time, we get our marching orders, or at least our cue, from our conference president, Elder Benjamin Jones. And I want to update you, we had a meeting on this past Tuesday, on the 25th. We had a Zoom conference with all of the pastors, workers within the South Central Conference. Elder Ben Jones chaired that meeting, and we talked about the challenges of reopening our churches and some of the other challenges that people are having in different areas of the conference, because there are still hot spots in terms of the pandemic. And one of the things that, the president has been consistent in saying, and I concur with him 100%, is that while we are anxious to open up, we want to make sure that our number one priority is the safety of our members and the visitors and those who come in. We want people to be safe. We don't want to, as I heard someone say, we don't want to spread coronavirus as we're spreading the gospel. We don't want to do that. And so it has been the decision by the executive committee and the AdCom Council for all of our churches to remain closed until the end of the year. In other words, the news is that we would remain closed based on not opening up until the beginning of the new year, January 2021. And the reason for that is because there are still hot spots in terms of there's still spikes in the virus that is happening, and our people, our population, our elderly, African Americans, and Latino population, and those of color, we are most vulnerable to this virus. And so we've hit the hardest. And so the decision has been made to continue to do what we're doing based on virtual online services and ministries. And we will look at it again at the end of 2020, December, with the conference president and with all of the members of the conference family. And then we will make a decision to reopen our churches up at the beginning of January 2021. I know this may not be news, good news for some of you, but we've got to really err on the side of caution and to be very careful. And so that's a decision that's coming down, the recommendation proposal from our conference, our conference, South Central Conference, which we are a part of. And so I hope and trust that you will keep us in prayer, and we will continue to do what we're doing here at the Magazine Street Seventh Adventist Church. Having said that, I want to also let you know that the church as a whole, in terms of our conference, the president gave us a report by way of our treasurer, Sister Sonia Creighton. You would be happy to know that the South Central Conference has, in terms of during this pandemic, has had a 7.01% increase in tithes and offering. Somebody ought to say amen. we have gained during this pandemic, 7.01 increase. In fact, South Central Conference is leading in the union of all of the conferences in Southern Union. South Central Conference is the first leading in tithe and offering increase. Also, we found out that through the North American Division, that South Central Conference, our conference, is second in leading in tithe growth during this pandemic. Somebody ought to say amen. The people of God have been very faithful, and we thank you for your faithfulness during this pandemic. Also, we were happy to know that through the Treasury Department that all the teachers were paid for the month of August through the South Central Conference. All full-time teachers were paid, and the local academies and schools did not have to fit that bill. That bill was taken up by the conference, 100% of it, and that means $230,000 was paid in the month of August for all of the full-time teachers within our educational territory. And that's a blessing. And they are talking about the possibility, because God has blessed our conference, of doing the same thing again for the month of September. So stay tuned. And so thank God for our conference leaders of the Treasury Department, Sonia Creighton and her staff, for the blessing of helping our schools, our academy, which EL Menace Junior Academy is a part of that. And so we thank God for the news that we're hearing about what is happening in our conference, South Central Conference. Now let me give you some updates based on where we are locally at the Magazine Street Seventh Adventist Church. We will continue our online ministries every second and fourth Sunday of the month. Tithes and offering drop-off will take place. Also, our Healthier Food Store pickup. Those who want to purchase from the Healthier Food Store, you can pick up those items on every second and fourth Sunday of the month. Plus, you can also donate to non-perishable goods to the food pantry as well. And the food pantry here helps our community right within the vicinity of the Magazine Street Seventh Adventist Church. And you ought to say amen to that. And then every Tuesday at 12 noon, prayer request dial-in conference call takes place. And then every Wednesday at 6:15 p.m., Wednesday in the Word via conference dial-in, the elders are conducting the Daniel and Revelation study series, and you want to be a part of that. And then, of course, on Sabbath, adult Sabbath via Zoom, you can contact Elder Joe Mallett for information. Every Sabbath, adult Sabbath school via Zoom is taking place. Also, children's Sabbath school via Zoom takes place every Sabbath, and you can contact Keturah Jenkins, Sister Jenkins, for that information. And then, of course, every Sabbath we have virtual church service, 11 o'clock, the sermons brought to you every Sabbath on YouTube and on our Magazine Street page website as well. And then we also have on every Sabbath the feeding of the homeless via Noel T. Goodwin Scholarship. You can contact Cecil and Vanessa Goodwin on that, and that takes place every Sabbath. They're doing a fabulous job in that ministry. And then, of course, the food pantry ministry, Magazine Street Church, the first and third Sabbath of the month, they provide in terms of food for those right in the community here at the Magazine Street Church. And you can contact Elder Brother Joe Mallett for that information. And let me say before I close out the announcement, this coming Sabbath, the Family Life Ministries will conduct on a worship and devotional study, and Sister Mitchell will be doing that for us, and that will take place at 3 p.m. Via Zoom, and you can find that information on our webpage to get further information how you can dial into that. On this coming Sabbath, Family Life Ministry, Crystal and Troy are leading out in that area, and they will have their 3 o'clock program, and the special guest, Sister Mitchell, will be presenting on worship and devotional life, and that's something that you want to be a part of. Amen. And then on September the 12th, here it is, September the 12th, The Kentucky Federation of South Central Conference will have a virtual youth day September the 12th, conference-wide. All the churches of our youth will have a conference-wide Kentucky Federation Youth Day. On that Sabbath of the 12th, we will not have any service online via magazine because we want to support the conference-wide Kentucky Federation of Youth Day. Amen? And so those are the things that are taking place throughout the month of September as we move into the month of September. And then finally, we certainly want to remember we had some bereavement in terms of loved ones passing. Brother Cecil Goodman lost his brother-in-law, Brother Charles Dorsey. We certainly want to continue to keep the Cecil Goodman family in prayer. I understand he was funeralized on Friday, and certainly want to remember the family in a very special way. And then I spoke with Sister Helen Hood, who lost her daughter, Darlene Frazier, on the other day, and that service will take place at G.C. Williams Funeral Home on Friday, September the 4th. The viewing will be at 10 to 11, and then the service will take place from 11 to 12 noon, and Elder Joe Mallett will be performing the eulogy for that service for Sister Darlene Frazier, the daughter of Sister Helen Hood, who lost her daughter. And so we want to remember these families in prayer. She was an active member in Brother Mallett's Sabbath school class, and so he will be delighted to be giving the eulogy for that service on September the 4th, on a Friday. So those are the announcements, those are the things that we have going on. We want to continue to ask that you pray for each other, pray for one another, stay well, stay safe, and stay home if you can. And let's keep each other in prayer. We're moving into the month of September. October will be here before you know it. November be here before you know it. And one final thing I want to mention. I want to encourage every member of Magazine Church family to make sure you vote November the 3rd. In fact, I have put up information on our website, and I'm going to continue to do that, about voter registration, what you can do, mail in or will you drop it off, however. The point that I want to emphasize is that, brothers and sisters, we have a responsibility that we need to vote. Vote. And November the 3rd, we need to vote. And we're going to do more in talking about that, because as we move closer, I was very nervous watching the Republican National Convention this week. And I'm saying to you that we have got to make sure that we get out there and vote. Because if you want what we've been getting for the next 4 years, well, I won't say any more on that, but please look on our website. I will be putting information up every week to talk about voting. I think we have 67 days left before November the 3rd. And so I want to encourage everyone to exercise your civil right and your responsibility, and to make sure you vote November the 3rd. May God bless you. I will be preaching this morning at 11 o'clock. The message is entitled, Emergency Shutdown. Join me at 11 p.m. today as we talk about that message, Emergency Shutdown. May God bless you, may God keep you, and may you stay well during this global pandemic. Amen.